What's going on, Cowboys fans? Chris Daughtry here, filling in for Tom Downey this week on the Cowboys Report. The Dallas Cowboys are signing center Wesley French to their practice squad after he worked out with the team on Tuesday. Obviously, the Cowboys are dealing with that injury to Cooper Beebe that has sent him to IR now, and the Cowboys desperately needed some depth at that center spot because what they have right now, Brock Hoffman is the only player on this Cowboys roster right now who actually has in-game experience in the regular season anyways at that center spot. So yesterday, the Cowboys ended up working out three different players. Jacob Bayer at that center spot, Wesley French, who they ended up signing to the practice squad, and then Thomas Perry, who historically has played guard in the past, but when I went back and kind of looked at the draft profiles for him, they kind of said that, with his size and arm length and everything like that, the expectation when he got to the NFL was he would move to center. Bayer was a member of the Bills practice squad, and then Perry was actually a undrafted free agent that signed with the Ravens, and he also played Division III football. So a massive step up from Division III to the NFL, and things just really haven't worked out for him there. But when it comes to French, he was in college, played there at Western Michigan, and then signed with the Colts as a UDFA in 2022 after the draft, and actually ended up making the Colts 53-man roster in 2023. He played 8 games, for the Colts along the offensive line on offense, but he did appear in 17 total games, made 3 starts. The rest of those games that he wasn't actually playing along the offensive line was doing some special team stuff, field goal and extra point and things like that. But he does have a little bit of playing experience. 2024, he did get placed on IR after having season-ending ankle surgery. And then in 2025, ends up getting waived by the Colts. And now the Cowboys are picking him up and signing him to their practice squad. So I want you guys to get down there at the pinned comment of today's video and grade the signing for me. A, B, C, D, or F. Look, it's practice squad. It's depth for you. It shouldn't be anything less than a C, I don't think. Really, it should probably be a B. So let me know what you guys think down at the pinned comment of today's show. Grade the signing by the Cowboys, A, B, C, D, or F. All right, there is also a bit of a connection here. There was a year overlap between French and current Cowboys offensive coordinator Clayton Adams when he was with the Colts back in 2022 was the year of the crossover there. Now, Clayton Adams, he was the Colts' assistant offensive line coach from 2019 to 2020. So the offensive line angle there was actually a little bit before French got there in 2022. Adams was the Colts' tight end coach in 2022. So, there is overlap there, doing a little bit of blocking stuff, but, it is a different position group, different rooms, different meetings, things like that. But they were in the same building at the end of the day. They know each other. They know, kind of how each other operates. They, I'm sure he did some scouting on him when he was coming out of college as well. So, at the end of the day, the Cowboys get some depth here at that center spot with Cooper Beebe going on IR. The expectation for him is going to be at least 6 to 8 weeks. The Cowboys are really hoping that they end up getting Cooper Beebe back more around that 6-week time frame. So, we'll break it down a little bit further here in just a second. But, he is one player now on this, or another player on this Cowboys roster now that at least has some experience starting at that center spot in the NFL. All right, we'll break it down a little bit more here in just a second, but today's show is brought to you by PrizePicks. You and I make decisions every single day, but on PrizePicks, being right can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this season on PrizePicks, where it's good to be right. I use PrizePicks for a ton of different types of sporting events, whether it's professional football, baseball, basketball, college sports, MMA, boxing, and so much more. PrizePicks has a ton of different options that you guys can play. And if you know ball, you can win real money all season long on PrizePicks. This is what we're going with the power play this week. Tua Tagovailoa, less than passing yards. Josh Jacobs, all he needs is 1 touchdown, so going with a more than on that. It could be rushing or receiving. And then Patrick Mahomes, that is the max discount. Make sure you get those into your PrizePicks lineups. He only needs a half passing yard. It's going to happen. Make sure you get that max discount into your PrizePicks lineups this week. That's the power play. But PrizePicks also invented the flex play, which means that you can still cash out if your lineup is not perfect. You can double your money even if one of your picks does not hit. PrizePicks is also the best way to get action on sports in more than 40 different states, including California, Texas, Florida, and Georgia. So download the PrizePicks app today and use promo code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's promo code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That link is going to be down in the description of today's show. It's also going to be down at the pinned comment of today's show as well. PrizePicks, it's good to be right. So right now on the Cowboys 53-man roster, they only have 2 centers with the addition now to the practice squad of Wesley French here. And Brock Hoffman, look, I do kind of like Brock Hoffman, his mentality anyways along the offensive line. You can see his career stats right here per PFF. Look, he hasn't been great, but he hasn't been terrible either. And, he was a bit of a penalty boy back in 2024 as well. He had 5 penalties in 2024 and then 3 penalties in 2023. And, at times, penalties kind of have been an issue with this Cowboys team. I know Tom really likes to call Brock Hoffman Captain Insano, which, I like it when your offensive linemen, have that kind of crazy kind of headspace, kind of vibe to them, going out there. If somebody's roughing up your quarterback or something like that, or your running back, whoever it is, go out there, push the guy off your guy, get in his face, whatever, let them know, set the tone. That's what I love from those offensive linemen. But you just got to make sure you're not going out there and you're doing anything to hurt your team. You don't want any of these, penalties after the play, unsportsmanlike conducts, anything like that. Hopefully, at the end of the day, there's no holding and he doesn't get beat a ton. And because, that's kind of one of those things where, when you're not really getting a lot of playing time, you can get beat early on and, cause some holds. And those are drive killers at the end of the day. So I think when it comes to Brock Hoffman as the backup center, I think he's a pretty decent backup center. Hopefully he can go out there and just play decent for the Cowboys over the next couple of weeks. Make sure you guys hit that sub button for me as well. We are only 43 subscribers away from hitting 225,000 here on the channel. We're growing every single day here at the Cowboys Report. And I want to hit that number before Tom gets back for the watch party on Sunday. So help me out. Stay up to date on all things Cowboys news. He's out this week, but we are still bringing you guys 2 videos a day. So get down there and hit that sub button for me right now. Now, I kind of teased earlier that Brock Hoffman was the only center on this Cowboys team that actually has snaps in the regular season at that center spot. TJ Bass has not yet played center in a regular season game in his NFL career. He did play 58 snaps in the preseason at center, so, they've kind of started kind of working him into that role, but really guard, both left and right, is where he has played when he has played in the regular season here for the Cowboys. But like I said, they started kind of working him out there at center during the preseason. I thought he actually did a pretty decent job when he played in the preseason. You see there 144 snaps, and it was kind of split the first 2 games with that guard spot and also at that center spot. And look, I mean, you can take, PFF with a grain of salt all you want, the grades and things like that. I really like to look at kind of the range where those grades are at, not necessarily the specific number there. When you're talking an 85.4 run block grade, that's in a really good spot. 57.4 is not very good on the pass block grade, but Brian Schottenheimer taking over for this Cowboys team. They drafted Tyler Booker in the first round. They've been putting a massive emphasis on the run game, and I think so far early on, you can see it that it was better at least than last year. You're going out there on first down, you run the ball, you're not just getting 2 yards. For the most part, you're getting 3, 4, 5 yards on some of those first down runs when they do that. So just the fact that TJ Bass did a pretty good job in the run game during the preseason, I think that's a pretty solid thing. And at the end of the day, he's not, hopefully going to be out there playing center for you. Hopefully it's going to be Brock Hoffman, but TJ Bass is going to be the next guy up at that center spot. So I want to hear from you guys down in the comments section again today. Are you worried about the Cowboys' offensive line depth, specifically at that center spot right now with Cooper Beebe out for the next couple of games? Let me know what you guys think. Type Y for yes or N for no. The news of the day, though, the Cowboys are signing center Wesley French to their practice squad after he worked out on Tuesday. the end of the day, no practice squad signing is a bad one, so you're adding depth to this Cowboys offensive line. I think that's a good thing at the end of the day.